What if all satellites fell down? Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that every satellite orbiting Earth has suddenly fallen from the sky. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. After all, most of us rarely think about satellites. We can't see them during our daily lives, and many people don't even realize how dependent modern civilization is on them. But the truth is that satellites are quietly supporting countless systems that keep our world running every single day. So what would actually happen if every satellite suddenly fell down? Let's find out. Right now, thousands of active satellites orbit Earth. They help us communicate, navigate, predict weather, study climate change, monitor natural disasters, and even conduct scientific research. Many of the technologies we use every day rely on satellites without us even noticing. The first major problem would appear within minutes. GPS systems around the world would stop working. Most people think GPS is only used for navigation apps like Google Maps, but it does much more than that. GPS satellites provide precise timing information that helps power banking systems, transportation networks, emergency services, and communication infrastructure. Without GPS, drivers would struggle to navigate unfamiliar areas. Delivery services would face major delays. Ride-sharing apps would become unreliable. Ships crossing oceans and airplanes traveling between countries would lose one of their most important navigation tools. The impact would spread rapidly. Communication systems would also suffer. Many television broadcasts rely on satellites to transmit signals across large distances. Satellite internet services would instantly stop functioning. Remote regions that depend heavily on satellite communications could become isolated from the rest of the world. International communication would become slower and more difficult. Next comes weather forecasting. Weather satellites constantly observe Earth's atmosphere from space. They track storms, monitor cloud movements, measure temperatures, and collect data that meteorologists use to predict weather conditions. Without these satellites, weather forecasts would become far less accurate. Hurricanes, cyclones, and severe storms would be harder to track. Governments would have less warning before dangerous weather events, potentially putting millions of people at greater risk. Scientists would also lose valuable tools for studying our planet. Earth observation satellites monitor deforestation, pollution, melting ice caps, rising sea levels, and changes in ecosystems. They provide critical information that helps researchers understand how Earth's environment is changing over time. Without them, gathering this information would become much more difficult and expensive. Financial systems could face unexpected challenges as well. Many stock exchanges, banks, and digital payment systems depend on extremely accurate timing signals provided by satellites. Even tiny timing errors can create problems in modern financial networks. Although backup systems exist, the sudden loss of all satellite timing signals could cause disruptions in global markets and electronic transactions. But perhaps the most dramatic question is this: would all those satellites crash into Earth? Surprisingly, not necessarily in the way many people imagine. Most satellites are relatively small compared to objects like airplanes. If satellites suddenly began falling toward Earth, many would burn up during re-entry because of the intense heat created by friction with the atmosphere. The atmosphere acts like a protective shield. As objects enter at extremely high speeds, temperatures can become so intense that many satellites completely disintegrate before reaching the ground. However, larger satellites and some stronger components could survive re-entry. If thousands of satellites were falling at the same time, debris could reach the Earth's surface in many different locations. While much of the planet is covered by oceans, and many areas are sparsely populated, there would still be risks to people, buildings, and infrastructure. Governments would likely issue emergency warnings and attempt to track incoming debris as accurately as possible. The economic consequence would be enormous. Businesses that rely on satellite data would experience major disruptions. Transportation, agriculture, telecommunications, shipping, and logistics industries could suffer billions of dollars in losses. Countries would likely rush to develop alternative systems and launch replacement satellites as quickly as possible. Yet despite all these challenges, humanity would survive. Before satellites existed, people still navigated oceans, predicted weather, communicated across continents, and built thriving societies. Life would become much less convenient, and many modern technologies would temporarily stop functioning as they do today. But humans are remarkably adaptable. Engineers would develop solutions, governments would coordinate responses, scientists would work to rebuild essential infrastructure. Eventually, new satellites would return to orbit, restoring many of the services we depend on. So while the sudden loss of all satellites wouldn't end civilization, it would remind us of something important. Much of modern life depends on technology quietly operating hundreds or even thousands of kilometers above our heads. And until that technology disappears, most of us never realize just how important it really is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What other what-if scenarios would you like to explore next?